Get out of the cities now while you still can. Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. We know, well hopefully you know, we are pretty sure, put it that way, that chaos, calamity, violence will be increasing, will be spreading, especially come this winter. November time frame-ish, yeah, maybe sooner it'll get started. There's a lot of upheaval headed our way. Now, whether it has to do with politics, or whether it has to do with grid going down in the middle of winter, or if it has to do with encroaching government controls, trying to control us, take away our freedoms, whether it has to do with more of that stuff that's happened over the last couple of years, lockdowns, mandates, all that stuff. Where would you rather be? In a city full of people that are easier to control, or rural, where you are a lot less likely to be controlled, lower population density, what does that do? That means fewer threats out there. If you're a prepper and you live in a city, you probably won't be able to stay and keep your preps and life intact. Cities are where violence always happens. Look at warfare. Yeah, there's wars and battles and all this stuff like that in the countryside. Yes, I get it. But cities are the primary focal points of warfare and or political or any kind of upheaval or unrest or violence. You don't see people rioting, burning, and looting in small town America, out in the sticks, right? No. Why? Well, I like to think because maybe generally speaking, I hate to generalize, but people that live rural have a little more maybe common sense, or there's just fewer people that are inclined to act like that. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. It's that when you're in a city, you got so many people crammed together. They're easier to control. There are fewer resources. They're not producing their own resources. They are not farming and ranching in a city. They are also not, they don't drill wells in cities and gather the water from right underneath them, like people do in rural areas. If you are in an urban area, built up area, just the sheer number of people that you'll have to contend with, whether they're good people or bad. There are good people in cities also, yes. I'm not saying everybody in a city is bad or dumb or lacks common sense or anything like that. It's not what I'm saying whatsoever. What I am saying, though, is that because you have so many people in such a small area, that the number of people that don't have that common sense, that aren't prepared, that are ready to do violence, and that will be taken off guard by this situation because they're completely 100% dependent on the system, are a much larger number of people, a larger percentage of people than in the cities, or than in the country, than in rural areas. Rural areas, people tend to be more self-sufficient. More people have their own gardens. More people raise their own animals. They are much more adept at changing situations, at making do. Cities will just be death traps. When true violence really erupts, people talk about the Civil War thing all the time. They talk about revolution. They talk about foreign invasion, all kinds of stuff. Well, okay, let's start off with a foreign invasion. Foreign invasion. Say China, Russia, you name it, you name the country, whatever, puts boots on the ground on our soil. Where are they going to go? They're not going to go to tiny little town America. They're not going to go to some, rural community in the backwoods in the mountains or something like that. They're going to go to the major cities. Now, will they eventually work their way there? Yes, if they're allowed to do so. But Let's look at Civil War. Where would that be fought? Predominantly in the cities. There would be a lot of infighting, a lot of violence, and just when you cram people together like that, you're going to have a lot more instances of people starving, of people being hungry, and people trying to take from others than you will in rural areas. However, those people that live in the cities will try to leave and go to rural areas to take what those people have. And or maybe if they're good people, and they're able to maintain morality, maybe they will just go out there hoping that they have some skill sets that can be of use to, Farmer Joe, and that he would take them on. They would provide skills, kind of forming community and groups. And that may happen also. But the cities are going to be death traps. One thing about cities is they're very limited access, in or out. You may think, oh, there's a lot of roads. There's roads all over the place. Well, yes, there is. But it is a lot more difficult, or a lot easier to lock down a city than it is in a rural area. Because a rural area is so spread out. People are so spread out. So that's another thing. People love talking about martial law and how martial law is going to go down. Well, you can't really do martial law in a rural area just because it's so spread out. You have to have massive manpower compared to a city. A city is much easier to control. That's why the push for megacities. That's why the push for rewilding, making it sound like it's good for the environment. I'm talking about UN Agenda 21 and 2030. If you guys know anything about that. It's about, yes, rewilding in the name of climate change and taking care of the environment and stuff like that, stacking us in these human boxes in high rises, all crammed together. Why? Because we're easier to control that way. And people in cities, when you're crammed into a high rise and little cubicles and boxes and stuff like that, those little micro homes and stuff, then you can't garden, you can't raise animals, you can't produce anything. You are completely 100% reliant upon them, upon other people. I don't want you to be reliant upon other people, other than maybe tribe members. Tribe is important. It's okay to work back and forth and rely on each other. But the fact is we need individualism. We need strength. We need people that are willing to stand up and do the hard work. So please, if you can, seriously, I know the housing market's just like basically getting ready to fall apart right now. So this may be your last opportunity. Before I go any further though, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up or the thumbs down, whatever. Comment on the videos, share the videos, and there's that little heart down there that says thanks in it. Super thanks. If you want to help out the channel, help me be able to produce better content and do more things and show more things, then yeah, that would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to help out also, and you want to see some great content, exclusive content, check us out on Patreon. Links in the description below. It's $1 a month. You can pay more you want, $3, $5, $1,000. It doesn't matter. Whatever you feel is adequate for what you get there. And I think you get very, very good value, especially for $1 a month. I mean, I can't even talk enough about Patreon. I can actually speak not in parables. I can talk about things like this and show them fully and talk about tactics and techniques and procedures and security and drills and training and all kinds of stuff there that I can't talk about here. But anyway, if you get out of the city and you move rural, I'll tell you one thing. One good benefit and side effect will be, I bet, just try it, do it, I bet you will see your health get a lot better. Because you won't be around all the smog, all the chemicals, all the crap, and living a simpler, back to basics life is good for the heart and soul. I'll tell you what, working with the ground, just becoming a farmer, a rancher, even if you can't afford a bunch of land, growing your own food, raising your own animals on a micro scale, on your own scale, I tell you what, it's really good for the heart and soul. Just getting back to basics. Working the land, loving your family, and rural areas are much easier to defend and much less likely to have threats show up at your doorstep. I'm fairly rural. I would like to be in an area that's more rural. Yes, I would. I'm still fairly rural. Our population density here is not what I would like. I would like a much lower population density, but I'm also in a really good area. I'm in a really good defensible area. I'm in an area around a bunch of good people, and tribe is strong here. I have very good tribe, so that's a good thing. But your blood pressure would probably improve immensely if you just move out of the city. Your level of activity would be amazing. Actually, here I want to talk about something. So I just got a book by Angry American, A. American. It's the newest one. It's the non-fiction. It's not the fiction stories, the dystopian fiction. It's the non-fiction about how to survive and stuff like that. I forget the exact name of it. I should pause the video and go get it, but I'm not going to. You can look it up on Amazon or wherever you want. A. American. And he made some really good points about how spoiled we are and how soft we are. And that's another thing. Moving rural, you'll get harder, hopefully, than you are now. Because he talked about shelter and basically containers, and how you go to bed every night in a container, and it's climate controlled, you're warm, everything's dry. You get up, you put on, or you go get in a shower, set at the perfect temperature for you. You get out, clean, dry towels. You put on clean, dry clothes. You eat perfectly cooked temperature food in a controlled environment, and then you get out of that. You remove yourself from that container, and you get in yourself in your mobile container, where you set the temperature controls to be perfect, keeping you nice and dry and cool or warm. And then you drive to your other container where you walk into the building, and then you go which is another container, and then you walk over to the elevator, which is another container, so you don't have to walk up the stairs because, God forbid you actually walk anywhere or get any kind of form of exercise. Then you take that upward container up to your office, and then you walk into another room, which is a container, over to your cubicle, which is another container, and it's all climate controlled and perfect, and you sit there. At the end of the day, you get out in reverse, day after day after day, container to container to container, not spending any time outside. And how so many people, we as humanity, has pretty much lost the ability to survive in our environment. We can't survive in our environment. How many people do you know that can go out into the woods and live for an extended period of time? I'm not talking about going camping overnight. I'm talking about, say, a month. And that's, and I'm talking about, if they brought adequate food and water with them, and stuff for shelter and stuff for starting fires, stuff. So even if having all the things that they would need, how many people could actually still do it? Just being out there. Could they actually sleep at night with the noises around them of nature that are natural noises, instead of the honking and beeping of cars and the sirens going off in the background? Yeah, we've lost the ability to exist in our own environment. So that's another thing about getting rural, getting out into the environment, getting used to that, getting your hands dirty, having that sense of accomplishment at the end of every day. Just get out of the cities, please. I know everybody can't leave the cities, and I don't want everybody to leave the cities. I want good, honest, moral people that are willing to work hard and be part of the solution instead of the problem, to get out of the cities and to be part of the solution in their communities. Not try to change the areas they move to. Don't move out of LA and to, northern Idaho, Arkansas, wherever, Oklahoma, and try to change it to make it LA again, because then you'll just destroy it. You'll ruin it. You have to change. You need to become like the people where you're moving. If you move. Great book, Joel Skousen, or however you say it, pronounce it, on strategic relocation. I have that book. Very, very good book. Insane amount of knowledge. That is a technical reference manual. It's a, it's like a tech manual, a school book, basically. Has so much in it. It is an amazing resource. If you're looking to do this, get that book. But whatever you do, if you are like-minded, you want to work hard, you want to be producing your own food, you want to be independent from the system, then get out of the cities. Get out now while you can, before it's locked down again and everybody's locked in their little containers. Anyway, I love you guys. I care about you guys. I want to empower and uplift you guys. I want you guys to thrive, not just survive in this situation. Have a wonderful day, and blessings to you and yours.